Guys, it is Battlemick here. It is good to have you. Now, we are finally here. This is the second killer guide coming out. This one is the Wraith. And what I really enjoy about the Wraith is his versatility. There are so many builds you can do on this killer that make him lots and lots of fun to play. But we're going to go over the basics. I'll try and give you some tips, maybe to improve your gameplay a little bit and what you should be trying to do, as well as some mistakes, which I do show in the video of what you need to try and avoid when playing this killer. Now, the most important part of this killer, I would say, is making sure that you're cloaking and uncloaking all of the time. When you are not cloaked, you are moving at 115% movement speed. When you are cloaked, you are moving at 126% movement speed. This is how you're going to apply map pressure. After attacking a survivor or hooking a survivor, you need to go into cloak to move around the map. You do not want to be moving around the map uncloaked because you're going to be moving slower. So we want to always try and go in and out of cloak as much as possible within reason. Also, what I try to demonstrate is breaking line of sight when approaching a survivor, whether that survivor is working on a generator, breaking a totem, healing, whatever they may be doing. You want to try and break your line of sight because the Wraith can actually be seen while he's cloaked. You have a shimmering effect as you move around the map, so you want to try and break that line of sight to catch those survivors off guard. Alright, enough of me yabbering. Let's get into the video and I'll give you an explanation of what I'm doing when I'm doing it, what I'm trying to achieve, and some of the major mistakes that I made during this game. Alright, now when spawning in as a Wraith, you're always going to be spawning in cloak. This is good. You don't have to cloak, you can start moving quick already. So let's get into it. We're going to start looking for our first survivor. Now, mind you, I did all of this after the recent changes to Ruin, so now Ruin no longer affects skill checks. So controlling generators and keeping map pressure is going to be your utmost importance. Now, finding my first survivor here, blocking line of sight, cloaking under the stairs, trying to get her confuse her a bit. Not a great loop for this survivor. Getting the hit, I'm going to cloak to catch up, so I want to close that gap as quick as possible. Running at 126% here. Now, when you come out of cloak as well, guys, you do get a bit of a speed boost. It used to be like the old Windstorm add-on. Now that they've all been reworked, he now has an inbuilt Windstorm, quotation marks. Again, cloak to catch up to this survivor. Now, here we go. Really important thing. Flashlights will burn the Wraith while he is cloaked, guys. It doesn't have to be in your eyes. If you're uncloaking and a survivor holds a flashlight on you, it will burn you. So, hence why I said, try and block your line of sight when you're uncloaking to avoid being burnt, just like I did there. Alright, got the hit on the survivor. I'm going to cloak now. Close this gap. And catch up to her a lot quicker. Also, what I've done here as well, as I'm coming out of cloak, I lunge to make use of that speed boost. And catching that survivor before she can throw the pallet. Yeah, good one. That's what's done. Immediately cloaking, which I failed. Cloaking again. See the survivor there. I'm going to make use of my Pop Goes the Weasel here. Now you got to remember, this is a group of friends that I've got in. These are red rank survivors. These are true red rank survivors. These guys are very good. So they don't make life easy on me in this game. Now, what I actually did here, I thought I was running a perk called Play With Your Food, but I actually wasn't. Hence why I cloaked when I actually shouldn't here. This is why I said cloak within reason. Don't go cloak and uncloak. You're going to waste a lot of time. You need to know when and when not to cloak. Alright, I'm going to leave this chase. We're going to cloak. We're moving at 126% here. Someone's got the save. Now I can sneak up on these guys and possibly get a hit or even a down. Feels bad, Penguin. Getting a double down here. Excellent. And here we go again, uncloaking. Now, if you're using any regression perks, like Pop Goes the Weasel, you can still kick a generator while cloaked, so don't worry about uncloaking there. It also works with breaking pallets, vaulting windows, so you don't need to uncloak to do any of that stuff. Opening a locker as well, you can still catch a survivor in a locker, even when you're cloaked. You don't need to uncloak to do that. So staying cloaked here, that survivor has life, hence why they're moving so quickly, but I'm going to catch up very quick here. I've stayed cloaked. I thought they were going to do a wind vault. They didn't. Now, what I'm actually doing there, that's a mistake by me. I'm getting stuck. That's all. But I end up catching him eventually. And if you guys have been following this series and taking notes of what I've been trying to show you in terms of like moonwalking and stuff like that, you'll see me implement that in all my games. I do it naturally. I've done it so much now. It's just a natural thing. Again, cloaking here. I can still use my Pop Goes the Weasel, but I do find a survivor here. And lunging as I come out of cloak there. You can obviously see how quickly and how far I went. Catching the survivor, you know, while she's dropping the pallet. Now again, with the flashlight, I can see that she's trying to burn me. I've avoided it by using cover. Now I can catch up to her. Getting that little bit of a speed boost to help close that gap. Because yes, it is quite annoying. You will get some survivors that, you know, will go around and just constantly burn you. Now, it is pretty easily avoidable. You just got to get behind something. Get behind a wall. Whatever you're around, if you're near a jungle gym, you just got to break that line of sight. That's all. It's not rocket science. Nice head on. Very well done. Now you'll notice here in this chase that I don't actually cloak to catch up. It is such a small chase that I would have wasted a lot of time cloaking and uncloaking. Now this comes with experience. It's going to be up to the killer to judge when to cloak, when not to cloak, because you can actually waste time if you do it incorrectly. Now approaching this, I should have tried to get behind a cover like a tree or a rock. That's my own fault for getting caught out in the open like that and getting flashlighted. Now that wasn't a burn, that was a blind. That's different. When you get burned, the Wraith will get stunned. So you want to try and avoid it. He will get stunned. It's a little bit buggy at the moment. You're meant to uncloak, but it doesn't uncloak you. You're kind of like, it's really weird. It's a bit buggy. But yeah, it is very, very annoying sometimes. Again, hooking someone, immediately cloaking, so now we can move quicker, cover more ground. I've seen these guys over here healing. Can you imagine how slow you would be moving around the map if you didn't cloak at all? It would be really, really bad. Good attempt at a 360 there. And what you'll notice is every time I hook a survivor, I cloak. I get into cloak, make sure I'm moving faster. Unless you see a survivor around the hook, unless you see someone hiding behind a rock or a tree, I wouldn't bother. I would go straight for them. But if you don't see anyone, immediately just get into the habit of cloaking. God damn it, I hate it when that happens. Sometimes when a survivor sits near a window, when you go to pick them up, you'll actually vault. It's really bloody annoying. Again, getting the hook, getting yourself into cloak, so I'm moving nice and quick. Hearing the Quinton. Almost getting him there with the lunge. Now you can see how much bigger your lunge actually is when you're coming out of cloak. Because of that speed boost, it makes the Wraith's lunge huge. It's enormous. So I hope you guys do take some notes from this. I hope this does help you out a bit with your gameplay. The Wraith is not a very difficult killer. He's very, very simple, easy mechanics to understand, but hard to master. Now, obviously, add-ons are going to change the way you play. There's a whole variety of add-ons that can just change the way that the Wraith plays. And like I said at the start of the video, the Wraith is super, super adaptive. He has so many builds you can run on him, and I'm going to give you an example of some of the builds coming up as soon as this is done. I'm just going to ring the Song of My People first to announce my victory and domination over these survivors. Now, one of the first builds I wanted to show you guys is the Ultra Volt Ultra Pallet Wraith. This is using the Shadow Dance add-ons. There is a very rare and a rare. Stack them both. They do stack. If you put that with Bamboozle, Brutal Strength, Fire Up, you can get a Wraith that can vault almost as quick as a Survivor. And it's hilarious. Now, the second build I wanted to show you with the Wraith is the Silent Bell Wraith or the Jump Scare Wraith. This involves two add-ons, an ultra rare add-on called the Coxcombed Clapper. This makes your bell completely silent, so there's no ding ding as you come out, the survivors can't hear it. And then you're using a common add-on called the Ghost Soot. Now this makes it so that after you uncloak, the Wraith's terror radius and red stain will remain suppressed for 6 seconds. This is great, especially on a map like Larry's or the underground laboratory, for getting grabs off of generators, off of doors, and it is one of my favourite builds. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up the video for us today. I hope there was something in this video that is going to help you improve your own gameplay. If you have any questions guys, feel free, join the Discord. I'll leave the link down below in the description. Also, I stream on Twitch. I say this every time, I feel like a broken record. Guys, don't be afraid to come over and hang out in the live stream. We have a blast all the time. Also, consider subscribing to the YouTube, liking, and chucking a comment because it helps me out a bunch. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you in the next one when we will be covering the Hillbilly. Until then, guys, take care.